What's up, guys? Wes Pruitt, 4-Star Sports Media. Hope everyone's doing well this Tuesday. We're doing pretty good here at the Sports Buffet. Got another plate full for you today. Doing things a little bit different today. We're going to talk a little college softball to start out. We'll go over the brackets, let you know who is the toughest bracket in our opinion, who is the most difficult bracket in our opinion. And don't worry, there's going to be more. We'll get back into it on Friday this week. Give our picks for the bracket, but that's going to take a little bit. We're going to talk bracket talk. Then we'll get over to the NBA, talk a little playoffs. Yeah, playoffs. Go over some awards that were given out. Then also we had the NBA draft lottery, so we'll talk Memphis Grizzlies specifically, and talk about the number 9 pick and see what options are available. Then we'll talk UFL as we dive into the Memphis Showboats. Going to take a look at some stats that are just ugly. But all that and more today on the Sports Buffet right here on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. And we got Jay Stern in the building. Let's get into it. As you can see, the SeatGeek, and I'm not talking about John Sturdivant, I'm talking about the promo code on the screen. 4-Star Sports Media. Head over to SeatGeek.com. Create you an account. Once you create that account, just go find you a ticket, concert, sporting events. There's all sorts of stuff on there. It's not just sports. Like, there's great concert deals too. Go over to SeatGeek, create you an account, go find you any ticket, $50 or more. Type in that SeatGeek code right there. 4-Star Sports Media. When you do, that promo code right there will save you $20 off that ticket purchase. If you don't believe us, go try it for yourself, because I bet you money it works. Welcome to the show. What's up, John? Nothing back. Okay. John is in the building. For those of y'all listening and you can't see the screen, John is in the building. He just decided right then he wasn't going to say anything back to me for whatever reason. Oh, there he is. Oh, hey, John.
Hey, what day is today?
It's Talk to Me Tuesday.
No, it's called Taco Tuesday.
That too. It is Taco Tuesday. Good point.
Okay.
Thank you to everybody watching and listening right now on Twitter and over on YouTube. We got a great YouTube channel, and I know it's YouTube. I'm just saying it different because I want to. Okay. But thank you to everybody watching and listening over there. Also, John, we got to give a shout out to the 4-Star Sports Media website, 4star.live. Head over to 4star.live. Check out the great articles, podcast, and more. I did not upload yesterday's show to the website, FYI. So I will get yesterday's show and today's show updated. I apologize for those who listen on the podcast, all the different podcast sites we're on. I apologize. What were you going to say, John? I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to say nothing.
Oh, okay. All right. John, let's get into some NCAA softball. I always want to say women's softball, but it's just softball. It's not women's. It's because the men don't play softball at the college level. So it's just Even though it does say Women's College World Series. I get that. But let's get into the bracket, man. You got the bracket pulled up?
Absolutely.
All righty. All right, let's start. So, John, there are 1, 2, 3. There are some great regional tournaments in this bracket. And let's start with the top. The number 1, Texas Longhorns. I don't have the Beth Gallon's voice that does the announcement. I'm sorry. I don't have her voice. She's incredible at what she does. Texas, and we're getting ready to talk about a loaded SEC roster that's going to be even more loaded next year. But Texas is going to host, and they take on the Siena. You got Texas, Siena, Northwestern, and SFU. Just initial thoughts. What's your thoughts on that, John?
For that region, man, I think Texas is the best team. They deserved to be the number 1 overall seed in that top 16 overall seed, in my opinion. Just because they got the pitching, they got the hitting, and heck, they got a Hall of Famer in their coach as well.
Very true. Very true. All right, so Texas will be matched up with the College Station Regional, featuring Texas number 16, Texas A&M, Penn State, Texas State, and Albany. I mean, obviously, of course, we're not giving picks right now. We're just going over the bracket. But then you've got the Baton Rouge Regional, where number 9 LSU has Jackson State, Cal, and Southern Illinois. That is a interesting little regional there.
Yeah, well, we're going to go to that College Station Regional real quick before we go to Baton Rouge. Texas State might be surprising. Like, if, for example, Texas State get passes Albany or whatever, and A&M could beat Penn State, not be surprised if Texas State beats Penn State in that elimination game because, hey, the Sun Belt with Texas State, don't be surprised with the Texas State pitching and batting. They might not have the record per se, but underdogs do happen to win that elimination game where they can squeak by somebody and surprise somebody.
Very true. Very true. As far as the LSU regional is concerned, that Southern Illinois team is just really cool to me. I like seeing them in there. Of course, Jackson State as well. I think it's very cool to see Jackson State. And if I remember correctly, John, isn't that Jackson State softball team a little scrappy little ball club?
They played some great teams, and I think they battled Memphis pretty well. Although nothing against Memphis, they had a losing record this year, but they competed with Memphis pretty well and surprised some people in their league. Not only in their league, but non-conference schedule in Jackson State.
No doubt,
you can hold some teams to 2 or 3 runs overall per game. So shout out to the SWAC in that one.
Yeah, for sure. Up next, paired up with that regional, you've got the Stanford Regional, which will feature Stanford, number 8 ranked Stanford, Cal State Fullerton, Mississippi State, and St. Mary's. This is going to be a fun regional because Mississippi State can pitch, Mississippi State can hit. Cal State Fullerton's always got a good softball team. Stanford is loaded this year, and St. Mary's is a sleeper team.
Yeah, but I could definitely see a Mississippi State-Stanford final in that one. Just the way that Mississippi State has played that tough SEC schedule, and I think Mississippi State is hungry for some wins in that Stanford regional.
Yeah, I think Mississippi State's hungry to win that region. In all honesty. All right, up next we've got the Stillwater Regional, number 5 Oklahoma State, Northern Colorado, Kentucky, and Michigan. There's some names in Stillwater.
Yeah, we're going to talk about who has the hardest one, but I'll go ahead and say who's got the hardest one right now off the bat. It's definitely got those Oklahoma State Cowgirls, and just because, Michigan's always there year in, year out, and then you also got Kentucky Wildcats, who's the dark horse in the SEC this year in softball. But so far, I think Oklahoma State, looking at the bracket just again for the second day, Oklahoma State has no easy road right now in that region.
No, not at all. And I mean, I think no matter how you slice that pie, if you're Oklahoma State, you're going to be facing a name brand ball club to move on to that super. Up next, John, it's right here in my backyard. Fayetteville Regional as the number 12 Arkansas Razorbacks have now made the NCAA tournament in 5 straight seasons and have now hosted in 4 straight seasons, which is crazy to me. Speaking of SEC teams, John, and I know you already know this,
Yeah.
but all 13 teams from the SEC were selected to play. This marks the 4th time in conference history that this has happened. It happened in 2017, it happened in 2018, 2019, and then now. Since 1997, John, the SEC has had 9 teams advance to the College World Series. That's impressive. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. But
yeah, that Fayetteville Regional, I think it could be an Arkansas Arizona final. But I want to tell you straight up, that's why I love Double Elimination softball. I can see SEMO, Southeast Missouri, just because they've been there year in, year out as well. And they're conference champions year in, year out. Do not be surprised if they compete with Arizona in that first game for maybe the first 3 innings. And maybe you see like a few miscues here and there for SEMO. Maybe. But, hey, SEMO is a scrappy group.
100%. I mean, I was just getting ready to say, I mean, it's not a cakewalk for Arkansas to host a super regional. I mean, it's not, because, I mean, Villanova's not going to be you're not going to push them over, and then Arizona is Arizona. They took out Arkansas a few years back, and then like you just said, Southeast Missouri is no slouch, for sure. For sure. All right, John, we're going to head down to the great state of Louisiana, where the Lafayette Regional, the Louisiana, number 13 ranked Louisiana Raging Cajuns, host Princeton, Baylor, and Ole Miss. This is a hodgepodge of schools. I feel bad for Princeton. They got to travel all the way across the country to get there. Baylor's not too bad. Ole Miss, their fans will drive down there. They don't care.
I really think also this could be one of the toughest regions also just because, like you said, you brought Louisiana up. They're conference champions year in, year out as well. They've been there before. They got the experience with pitching year in, year out. And I think, to be honest with you, I know Ole Miss was like the last 4 in, so they definitely did not do any favors for the Ole Miss Rebels. I believe they were like 32-25 overall, and they had a losing record in the SEC. But that RPI is probably what got them in. But I'm not going to do my pick right now, but don't be surprised if you see Baylor beat Louisiana in that regional final.
You and I are on the same page there, man. All right, last regional of this side of the bracket anyway. We head down to Florida, to Gainesville, Florida, with the number 4 Florida Gators. This is a Florida-filled bracket right here, and I love it. So Florida plays Florida Atlantic, and then South Alabama, obviously not a Florida team, plays Florida Gulf Coast University. First off, that Florida Atlantic game, Florida's really good in softball. They won the SEC. I mean, they're talented bunch, right? Florida Atlantic is no slouch. Don't sleep on Florida Atlantic. And then in the other game, South Alabama and Florida Gulf Coast, that's going to be a fun little matchup to watch. Both of those teams are hungry. Both those teams are playing good softball, too.
I'll go ahead and tell you now my regional final now. It's going to be Florida versus Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast is pretty much competing with the Atlantic 10. Or not the Atlantic 10, but the Atlantic Sun year in, year out as well. And they have always competed with Lipscomb in the previous years to see who actually wins that conference. And I think this is the year that you see Florida and Florida Gulf Coast in that regional final.
All right, John's giving out picks way before Friday. It's 3 days away. John's screw it. I'm doing it now. All right. Up next we had to
without pointers, that's all.
well, up next we had to Knoxville, the number 3 Tennessee Lady Vols. Will host Dayton, Virginia, and Miami of Ohio. I think Tennessee cakewalks in that regional. That's just my opinion, and I could change my pick between now and Friday. That's because I can do that. But no, I honestly do. I think they cakewalk there. Up next, now this is SEC. This is the SEC field side of the bracket.
I'm going to shout out to Miami, Ohio in that bracket, man. Looking at them, they could be a dangerous foe for Tennessee in that regional final. Like I said, I'm not doing any predictions yet, but Miami, Ohio can throw the ball, they can hit the ball, and they can field the ball pretty well as well. And I know it's the MAC, conference or whatever, but hey, Miami, Ohio's got some quality wins under their belt this year.
100%. Like I said, SEC field side of the bracket here. I mean, the other side was too. Hell, they 13 teams. Yeah. Up next, we had the Tuscaloosa. The number 14 Alabama Crimson Tide will host Southeast Louisiana. That's not the Mud Dogs from Waterboy. This is the Southeast Louisiana team. Clemson and USC Upstate. Shout out to USC Upstate. I think that's cool. When they were going over the brackets and she said USC, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then she said Upstate. I'm like, whoa, it's not the same team. But man, this is gonna be a fun little bracket here. I think I'm not saying Southeast Louisiana Mud Dogs. They're not the Mud Dogs. I'm just kidding. But I'm not saying Southeast Louisiana is gonna beat Alabama. But I do think that Alabama's gonna. I don't want to say struggle, but it's gonna be not an easy win in that first one for them.
Yeah, Alabama's been not hitting the ball lately, and it's definitely been showing where they've been leaving a lot of people on base. Heck, Wes, it showed against LSU in that 14-inning affair in that first-round matchup in the SEC tournament where they couldn't score when it mattered most. And Coach Patrick, don't get me wrong, he's a Hall of Famer softball coach as well at Alabama. But do not be surprised if you see Clemson in that winter regional final, just because Clemson has been battling the ACC schedule like crazy this year. They've been pitching pretty well as of late as well.
Very true. Very true. Up next, we head down to Athens, Georgia. Number 11, Georgia Bulldogs, Lady Dogs. Sorry, our Lady Dogs. Will host UNC Wilmington, Charlotte, and Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving my pick away, but I don't think the host team is going to win this regional.
Wow. I think I know where you're going. Maybe we're on the same boat, but
that's a loaded regional, dude.
Yeah,
that is a loaded regional.
Looking at it, Charlotte, for example, the American Athletic Conference champions, they can pitch the ball pretty well. They beat Wichita State at Wichita State for that championship game. They run-rolled them, I might add, in that conference championship. They won like 10-1, where they jumped up 10-0 in that game, where the girl hit a 3-run bomb and a 2-run bomb. 5 RBIs all by herself in that game as well. And Charlotte can pitch the ball pretty well. They got 2 All-American pitchers, and it definitely has been showing how much the American Athletic does not get enough love from top to bottom regarding the softball. But heck, Charlotte's a fun story this year for the 49ers of Charlotte.
Yeah, that team is they've got some power to them for sure. All right, John, let's head out to LA. And I'm not talking about lower Alabama. I'm talking about Los Angeles for UCLA bracket. Number 6 UCLA Lady Bruins will host San Diego State, Virginia Tech from all the way across the continent, and Grand Canyon. I'm not giving picks away, but I think UCLA wins this bracket. But I think that their second game is going to be interesting.
Yeah, Virginia Tech and UCLA could possibly match up in that second round, just because, like we talked about with my mama blank with Clemson. Virginia Tech can hit the ball and they can throw the ball pretty well as late as well. And don't let's give some shout out to San Diego State too. They've been doing pretty well in the Mountain West as of late as well.
They have. They have. All right, John, let's head over to Columbia, Missouri. The number 7 Lady Missouri Tigers will host Omaha, Washington, and Indiana.
Omaha.
Omaha. Tuesday. Special team, special play, special players. Shout out Sketch. John, for the second time on this side of the region, I'm gonna make a statement. I don't think the host team wins this region.
I agree with you on that because not only Missouri's a fun story as well this year. They played in the SEC championship game against Florida, but from an experience point of view, I definitely love the Washington Huskies. And I'm not pulling my prediction yet, but I can see a Washington beating Indiana and then probably beating Missouri, where Missouri probably has to beat Washington twice just to make that super regional. But experience comes in factor here in this regional. It definitely has Washington the favorite, in my opinion, in this regional.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch. All right, let's head over to Durham, North Carolina, where the Lady Dukies, that'd be the Lady Duke Blue Devils, by the way, are hosting Utah, South Carolina, and Morgan State. What's your thoughts on that, John?
Some people are saying that Duke deserved the higher of the 10 seed overall seed. And I think, to be honest with you, I kind of agree with them just because they were battling the ACC this year where everybody was up from top to bottom pretty competitive. Duke is the favorite, but do not be surprised if I can see maybe a South Carolina Duke regional final in that one.
I agree. And very similar to the next one we're going to talk about. It's down at Tallahassee, Florida. Florida State Seminoles, number 15 ranked Florida State Seminoles, come in hosting Chattanooga, Auburn, and UCF. And I think this will be an all-Florida final that has the making to be quite interesting.
Yeah, I can see that just because UCF has been there before and they have played a Florida State type team year in, year out on their non-conference schedule. And also, just from experience, they battle the Florida schools pretty well on the scheduling. And also, in years past, they would either play Florida or Florida State in that regional, no matter what, because the satellite, it feels like. But UCF has been fun to watch all year. And I know they're in the Big 12 now where it's been tough. And I'm sure UCF is going to be glad when Texas and Oklahoma finally leave the conference.
I mean, what a segue into the next regional. We head down over to Norman, Oklahoma, the number 2 Oklahoma Sooners. And to your point, John, the two teams coming over to the SEC are ranked number 1 and number 2 in the NCAA softball tournament. I mean, technically speaking, 15 teams are from the SEC if you add in Texas and Oklahoma.
Right.
It's insane. All right, so Oklahoma, number 2, is going to host Boston University, them dadgum Bulldogs, Quack Quack Oregon Ducks, and Cleveland State. I love that Cleveland State, first time ever making the tournament. I love their logo. I love everything about that school. I just think it's cool. And I would love to see an upset in round 1 over Oregon for Cleveland State. I mean, imagine those fans. I mean, god dang, you got to play freaking Oklahoma, but crap, you beat Oregon. I mean, you're having fun.
Yeah, that's your Super Bowl right there, right? But yeah. But the real talk is, could Oklahoma be a 4-peat this year and win their 4th straight national title? But Boston University is fun to watch this year because they're 52-7, I believe. They got the pitching as well, and oh man, this might be. I'm not saying Oklahoma's going to lose, but like you said, look out for the Oregon Ducks. But the Pac-12 is definitely fun to watch as well because this is kind of like the last year of the Pac-12 with all those teams going to the Big Ten next year for softball too.
Oh yeah, I mean you mean the Pac-2? Is that what you're talking about?
Sure.
Yeah, the 2-pack. Oh, that's funny. No, yeah, I agree, man. This is gonna be a lot of fun to watch. It's gonna be. I always get excited about this tournament. There's always games on early. There's always games on late. And if you enjoy softball in general, which I do, it's a very fast-paced. There's not a lot of downtime in the sport. Everybody's go, go, go. The field is shrinked in. And those girls are having fun. And all the little chants and stuff from the dugouts is what I love. And you look over and they got freaking cups on their noses and crap, and they're doing all these different dances. It's just fun to watch, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And who is the toughest team that you think has the toughest road?
Ooh, all right. So toughest road. All right, look at there we go. John, dadgummit. I didn't want to answer this question first. Here we are.
Sorry, you.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, I think obviously you said it earlier. I mean, Stillwater is not going to be an easy regional. Fayetteville is not going to be an easy regional. I think Georgia's got the toughest road. I don't think they make it out of their own regional. I don't think Georgia. I know. I mean, there's probably people out there that softball much better than I do. That's fine. I just personally, I don't think Georgia makes it out. I think there's a team in that regional that is just on a freaking run this year, and they're good, really, really good. I don't think Georgia makes it out. I don't know that Alabama makes it out. Based on what I saw in the SEC tournament, that team is having problems scoring runs, as you talked about.
Yeah.
I think when you look at supers, I mean, Texas doesn't have. I mean, Texas has got a pretty easy road. LSU's road's not all that easy. Like I said, whoever comes out of that Stillwater Fayetteville Super, my gosh, that team is going to be battle tested, just because of the two. Their two regions. I think Oklahoma rolls for sure. Missouri's a scrappy little bunch. They were fun to watch during that SEC tournament, man. They never quit. They never gave up. I think the hardest is Georgia. I don't think Georgia makes it out of that regional. What about you?
I will say let's do the Stillwater regional. Just because we got more experience from other teams. Michigan, like we talked about, Michigan's always there in that regional. They either host or they're traveling. Hey, same thing with Kentucky. In years past, they've always been hosting. And I think Stillwater's the toughest one out there. And I'm going to go with my easy one. I'll go with Florida's regional is probably the easiest one out there. Although a close second would probably be... I'll do the Knoxville regional, might be the second easiest. Although I can see Virginia, Miami, Ohio maybe competing for the first few innings against the Lady Vols, in Knoxville. So those are my two easiest ones. What about who do you think got the easiest road for the Super?
I mean, Oklahoma's road is going to be, I think, fairly easy for them. I think they'll run their region, and then whoever comes out of Tallahassee, I don't think is going to be an issue for them. Duke is sneaky good. I mean, that Durham regional I just keep seeing it. It just something about that regional keeps popping out.
Pitching.
Yeah, I mean, Knoxville may have a pretty easy. I mean, obviously you look at Texas. I think Texas absolutely annihilates that regional. Both Texas and Texas A&M. That's two. I think both of those is a pretty easy, pretty set up regional. You look at Baton Rouge. I think the only real competition there is probably going to be Cal. Maybe watch out for Southern Illinois, but I think if they meet LSU, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
No problem at all. John, let's talk a little NBA, man. I know you thoroughly enjoyed the NBA. You always have. I enjoy it. I'm not a avid watcher like you. Um, so let's talk. Let's start with a little playoff. Let's start by talking a little bit of playoffs, John. We got two big, big, big matchups tonight.
Yeah, I definitely. First of all, I do want to say like Boston has the 3-1 lead now over Cleveland after winning yesterday 109 to 102. And then I know Donovan Mitchell did not play for the Cavaliers, where I think they had to have a Darius Garland step up, and he pretty much did in Mitchell's absence. So Game 5 for that will be on Wednesday, and Boston losing that series 3-1. I definitely can see Boston finishing it up tomorrow against Cleveland because I think Cleveland is just gassed right now, and I think Boston's got the better team. Oklahoma City.
I was about to say, I mean, what a series between Oklahoma and Dallas right now, tied 2-2. The Thunder, I mean, a massive win last night, John, because we know there's a big difference in 3-1 and 2-2.
Yeah, Oklahoma City was down by 14 in that third quarter. I mean, in that third quarter was basically the turning point of that game for Oklahoma City, where they ended up winning 196. And I could see this series pretty much going 7 games just because, the NBA definitely wants ratings and they definitely want money, in those games as well. But Game 5 for that one is Wednesday in OKC as well, where it seems to me that Oklahoma City probably going to win this one at home. Dallas win one at Dallas and then go back to OKC for Game 7. But heck, man, Luka is Luka. Triple-double machine. Kyrie's playing at a high level right now for the Mavs. And also, I think, the key for Oklahoma City is, hey, look at Chet Holmgren right now. Chet is playing pretty well for the OKC Thunder as well as of late. So, yeah, those two series are probably going to, Boston can probably finish it up tomorrow, I'm going to guess. And definitely OKC, because Dallas probably can go 7 games in the long haul for that series.
Yeah, and then I agree completely. And then when you look at tonight's games, you've got both series tied 2-2. This Pacers team they're fun, dude. I enjoy this little Pacers team, and we talked about it a while back. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the Knicks too. Don't get me wrong, but this Denver Minnesota series, I didn't see it going down like it did. I mean, crap, Minnesota jumped up 2-0. Now Denver's fought back. Game 5's tonight. It starts at 9:30 Eastern. Sorry, 9:30 Eastern time. For those of you on the East Coast, you're welcome. Tony, appreciate you, buddy. No, it's both these series are going to be fun. So, John, let's go ahead and give predictions for tonight. I'll start. All right. Give me the Pacers to win tonight.
Wow.
And give me the T-Wolves to win tonight. Both road teams get the win.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden is going to be electric once again today, and it kind of reminds me of Allen Houston versus Reggie Miller back then, where there's a lot of trash talking, and I think right now there's definitely a lot of trash talking in this series as well, just because. Heck, Indiana, did you see that where Indiana turned in 75 non-calls against them in the first 2 games of playoffs? But I'll go New York wins this one at home. Although I think right now Jalen Brunson is also tired at times because he's playing a lot of minutes. And they're definitely not. And shout out to Precious Achua, by the way, as well for the Knickerbockers as well. So New York will probably win that one. I'm going to say at home. Oh, man. Minnesota 2-2 with Denver. Oh, man. I'm kind of torn because, Denver lost the first 2 at home. And then they beat Minnesota twice at Minnesota. But just the way right now, a lot of people, not only me and you, are kind of disappointed in Rudy Gobert's defense as late because Rudy Gobert is totally lost on these screen actions that Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and Joker are putting out there for the Denver offense. But Anthony Edwards is a bad man right now. He's playing at a high level, scoring 30 plus a game lately. But I will go with the Denver Nuggets at home. And I think Denver wins this one just because Minnesota's defense has been playing god awful lately. And I think Minnesota wins game 6 at Minnesota. And then game 7 is definitely going to be interesting this weekend.
Oh yeah, it is 100%. John, speaking of the NBA, we had a draft lottery recently. Of course, you look at the mock drafts. I mean, it's going to be a pretty overseas start to the draft, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I think Alex Sarr will be number 1 from Perth. 7'1", 216, 19 years old. With kind of a comparison to like a Jaren Jackson. Gonna be nasty. But John, let's talk about the Memphis Grizzlies specifically. They drew the number 9 draft pick. So I'll ask you this, John. Do you draft or do you move it for more?
I'm 50-50 right now, to be honest with you. I mean, to be honest with you, I think as of right now, I probably would trade it and just say trade it and maybe get like a veteran center out there that's in a free agency or something like that, because you definitely need another big man. It's also going to be interesting, as of right now, Luke Kennard as a free agent, not this upcoming season, but next season after that, because it makes you wonder if they're going to re-sign him, in the long haul as well, because he's going to be a free agent. And then, of course, you got the point guard position. What are you going to do with the point guard position going forward as well? And I think right now, there's just so many. You just drafted G.G. Jackson out of South Carolina, and I think he right now is your wing player, that can shoot the ball pretty well. But I also think in the long haul, you might need another three-point shooter other than – you can't rely on Jaren Jackson shooting the 3-ball every game and go like 3 of 10 from the 3-point range and be in foul trouble. But as of right now, I think I'm going to trade that number 9 pick and then see what you can get in free agency. And hopefully maybe you can bring you never know, you can bring a Jonas Valanciunas back, as well in free agency, because, heck, for the first time in his career, it feels like he played all 82 games last year with the Pelicans. So you never know what could happen down the road, but I tell you a player I wouldn't mind seeing. I know people are going to be upset about this pick, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Dalton Knecht, former Tennessee Vol, being that Grizzly uniform. Just the way I saw he played with a lot of heart in that NCAA tournament this year.
Well, John, you just talked about the need of a shooter.
Yeah.
You read my mind with Dalton Knecht. I'll be honest with you. You know how I am when it comes to this. I don't care where the guy plays basketball.
Right.
I don't crap where he played college basketball. If he's a need, you go get it. If it pisses off Memphis Tiger fans that they draft Dalton Knecht, so freaking what? Who cares? Because guess what? They're still going to take their ass out there and watch him.
Right.
They're still going to watch him on TV. They're going to buy his jersey. They'll cheer for him. They just won't tell all the Memphis fans they cheer for him.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. When you look at Dalton Knecht, 6'6", 204, 22 years old, he was a senior, so he's got the longevity at the college game. I think value's definitely there. He's one of the best bets on the board. He can shoot, like you talked about. He can put up points. I mean, we saw him score 37 against Purdue, 40 against Kentucky, 39 against Auburn last year, 39 against Florida last year, and then 37 against North Carolina in an absolute game. But let me ask you this, John. What about a guy that's kind of, I don't want to say unknown, but untapped? And that's Ron Holland. He's a shooting forward, 6'6", 204, 18 years old, so very raw, right? I get it. He's not the best shooter in the world, but he's 18. And he was the number one prospect coming out of high school just a few years ago. And had he not went G League, he was either probably going to go to Arkansas, possibly Memphis, and Kentucky, some other schools.
Right.
But he can finish at the rim. He's got explosive speed, incredible handles. You just got to work on his 3-point shooting. It's a little underwhelming, but he's got the potential. And really, at the NBA, you know this. You're drafting potential. It's not like football. You draft a guy now that you know is going to be good 2-3 years down the road. I would seriously look at a guy like Ron Holland. Very, very untapped potential there. I love Dalton Knecht. I think if I'm the Grizzlies and he's there, I draft him. Knecht. Period. But if he's not there and Ron Holland is there, I would take a chance on him. I mean, he's got to be better than the beat. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'll take a chance on him. The Grizzly fans may laugh at that. That's fine. I don't care.
Right.
I would definitely take a chance on this kid, especially considering we don't know what's going on with Ja Morant. We don't know if he's fixed any issues that he had last season, both on the court and off the court, for that matter. So I think you've got to go in and you've got to find somebody youthful. You've got to find somebody that you can maybe move around, play at some different positions. But, I mean, I think you're going to have to address the point guard situation with the Grizzlies eventually. Yeah, whether that's free agency, whether it's the second round of the draft, whatever. I think you've got to address it because it's a glaring issue that, in my opinion, is not getting any better.
Yeah, a good friend of mine just reminded me that Tyus Jones, well, he reminded me this weekend, he said Tyus Jones is a free agent. So that's going to be expensive for him, you know, even to stay a Grizzly. For basically, if you want him to be a Grizzly, you're going to have to pay some money for Tyus Jones because it's Tyus Jones. He got better throughout the year last year as well in Ja's absence. And I think it's going to cost you a little bit more money to keep him. But you're definitely going to have to find a veteran point guard again somewhere. You know, I wouldn't mind, like, I don't know, man. We definitely need to get a veteran point guard again.
I mean, or you go and you trade, move around, and maybe you move down for, you know, a Jared McCain from Duke. Right. You know, a guy that's a dual position player, 6'3", 20 years old, still young. But he can shoot. He's a heck of a shot maker. He's got plenty of potential. He can move. You know, he's got good handling, good shooting, good touch, good speed. I think he's a guy that, you know, or I mean, John, just go get Isaiah Collier, very talented player. Just go get Bronny and stop playing around.
No, bro.
Go get Bronny and stop playing.
He's not ready, bro. He's not ready.
No, he's getting ready to be ready because his ass is getting ready to be drafted. Watch.
He ain't ready, bro. No.
So, when Daddy says he's ready, John.
He ain't ready, bro. I'm sorry, but he ain't ready.
Daddy says he's ready, so that means to me he's ready. Okay? No. You're talking about the GOAT of basketball in his own mind. in his own mind, he is the GOAT. And if he says his son is ready for the NBA level, he is. And John, he had the number 3 all-time 40, and they got a damn graphic out with him next to Derrick Rose because he outjumped Derrick Rose by like a half an inch or something.
I mean, Bronny had like issues, middle of the year. That's one reason I'm just saying I don't think he's ready yet for this type of level. But
Where do you think Zach Edey goes? He's a name in this draft that I'm very interested in. Realistically, where do you see him going?
Not top 10. Not top 10 at all.
Oh, I don't think he goes top 20. Honestly, I think he's very in low bottom side of the first round.
Yeah, I'll say like 15 to 20 type range in my honest opinion. I really think maybe like 15 to 20. I mean, I'm not trying to. I mean, he looked good yesterday shooting the 3-ball, but man, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say just because I think somebody could probably grab him because they need some height on their team. I have a gut feeling that somebody is going to trade up and get him, maybe like in the top 12 or so, and get him. But I can see him being a late first round, if that. To be honest with you, I'm not really impressed. I mean, I'm impressed on how many points he gets per game. Don't get me wrong, but heck, when you're like 7'5" and Yao Ming out there, you're gonna score like 30 points a game.
Yeah, that's a name that I'm very, very interested to watch and see where he lands. I think a team like Phoenix could go get him. Imagine him in Milwaukee. Yeesh. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. All right, John, there was some NBA awards that took place. So let's talk a little NBA awards.
Yeah, man, like the MVP award went out to Nikola Jokic, Denver Nugget Joker, they call him. He beat out Luka Doncic from Dallas, and he also beat out Mr. Alexander for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So what is your thoughts? Are you surprised that Joker won another MVP or not really?
Oh, no, not at all. When we talked about it a few weeks back, I made the statement he was the MVP, and if anybody else won, it was a scam. The guy's dominant. I mean, look at this series. I mean, look at the season. Look at the series. He plays basketball, and then he goes home, and I love that. I really do. Like, he doesn't mess around with it. He goes, he hoops, he does his thing, and then he goes to the house. And I respect that because in today's day and age of NBA and just athletics in general, it's all about me. What can I do outside? You know what I mean? Photos, photography, all that. Where am I? What am I doing? Partying? That's not Jokic at all. And I thoroughly enjoy it.
Okay, Rookie of the Year went out to Victor Wembanyama from San Antonio, beat out Ted Holmgren and then Brandon Miller for the Charlotte Hornets. So I'm not really surprised on this one just because Victor had a double-double, 21 points, 10.6 rebounds, and 4 assists per game this year, and also 4 blocks per game. So I think Victor deserved that Rookie of the Year.
No doubt. And that Wemby is one guy that he's just so intriguing. He's so long. His hands come down like to his ankles. He is just incredibly long, incredibly athletic. And he's another one, John. Was he like 18, 19 years old? Like, he's incredibly young. And he has, the old Pinocchio commercial, you're full of untapped potential. Well, that's him. He is full of untapped potential.
Yeah, have him gain a little bit more weight, and I think he'll be okay. But Defense Player of the Year goes to Rudy Gobert from the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's not showing he's the Defense Player of the Year in the Denver Nuggets series. I know that for sure. But he beat out Bam from the Miami Heat and also Victor from the San Antonio Spurs. What's your thoughts on Rudy winning Defense Player of the Year?
Honestly, I think you probably could have given it to Wemby. I think Wemby was in that. In my opinion, Wemby was probably in that conversation a little more. I mean, I get it. Rudy's played incredible basketball until now. I mean, he's been really good. I mean, Rudy's Rudy, man. I like Rudy Gobert. I mean, everybody hated him 4 years ago, but everybody likes him now.
Okay, Sixth Man of the Year finalists were Naz Reid from Timberwolves, Malik Monk from Sacramento, and Bobby Portis from the Milwaukee Bucks. I think Malik Monk definitely should have got it for Sacramento because I know Sacramento played in that play-in game or whatever, but heck, Malik Monk carried them the last couple of games to get them into that play-in spot.
Yeah, he did. He did. Malik's always been fun to watch. I mean, that guy can play. He can straight up play. And Bobby's another one, man. I like Bobby Portis, man. I've always liked the guy. He's just got that kind of dog in him. I mean, I've just really, really always enjoyed it.
Okay, and then your most improved player went out to Tyrese Maxey from the 76ers. Beat out Kobe White from the Bulls and also beat out Singleton from the Rockets. Yeah, Maxey definitely deserved that most improved player.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's right there with the MVP. I think both of those guys, no doubt, deserved it.
All right, here you go. Clutch Player of the Year, Stephen Curry from Golden State beat out DeMar DeRozan from the Bulls. And then Shai Alexander from the Thunder. Of course, Steph Curry deserves it, in my opinion, just because Steph can shoot the ball from anywhere.
Okay, but is Shai Alexander still playing right now, or is he at home with Steph?
True, but they do that. That's what I was about to get at after the awards, because I think, me personally, I think the awards need to be presented after the playoffs, in just my honest opinion.
Oh, agreed. 100%. 100% agree. No doubt. So, John, as the NBA season winds down, and we're not done talking about it. We're gonna continue talking about it.
Hey, Coach of the Year, by the way, is Oklahoma City Thunder's Coach Mark. Beat out Chris Finch for the Timberwolves. And then Jamal Mosley for the Magic. That's a tough one. He could have gone to either one of those, and I would have been happy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got the NBA draft coming up in June? You got the combine getting ready to crank up. I always love going to NBA TV and watching all that. You've got some players at the combine who could possibly make some noise. Little Niquay Tomlin, former Memphis Tiger, has been playing really well. John, the NBA is always, always, always fun to watch. John, let's talk about something that's not always the most fun to watch. And that's the 1-6 Memphis Showboats.
Mm-hmm.
They won the first game of the. I don't have to tell you, you know. They won the first game of the year 18-12 over the Houston Roughnecks, and have proceeded to lose 6 consecutive games. And besides the second game, they haven't been close. So I want to look at a couple of stats. You got their stats pulled up?
Yeah.
So I want to go look at score by quarters, okay?
Mm-hmm.
First quarter, not bad. Showboats have scored 37, opponents have scored 48. Second quarter, not bad. Showboats have scored 44, opponents have scored 59. Third quarter, not bad. Not good, but not bad. 23 points for the Showboats, 32 for their opponents. Now, this is the one that about slapped me when I was looking over stats. The fourth quarter, the Showboats have scored 26 points. Their opponents have scored 79. So my question is this. What does that have to do with the offensive line?
Absolutely nothing. The defense can't get off the field when it matters most. They're either giving up 3rd and long, or they're giving up dumb penalties to get them still be on that stupid or that football field at the moment. That's why they can't get off the field, in my honest opinion. They're doing dumb stuff not to get off the field in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, there's also no pressure up front on this defense. Like none, zero. They've only got 13 sacks the entire season. They played 7 games. You can do the simple math and tell you how many we get a game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, on the flip side of that, they've given up 32. I understand part of that's on the offensive line. We're talking about defense right now. That's terrible, John. And then when you look at,
feel like
go ahead.
Much. I also feel like once they figure out they're down by like 25 or whatever going into that fourth quarter, they're like, "Oh well, the game's already over." That type of attitude. I mean, it's been showing ever since. Don't you remember, like, 2nd or 3rd game? I forgot which one it was, where they had
game 2. It was we crapped the bed. We pulled an Amber Heard on that one.
So ever since that game where they gave up that 4th and whatever on that, instead of doing the onside kick and just give it up, it seems like the defense has been going down south ever since. I feel like they just basically give up too easy. That's what I feel like.
I mean, I don't know if they're giving up, but I don't know what's going on. I mean, they've only got 2 interceptions the entire season versus their opponents have 8. I don't, and everybody, I give Coach Flip 1,000% credit. Looking at these stats, he is 100% correct when he said 2 weeks ago that blaming the offensive line for this team's problems is a lazy narrative. He's 100% right. Because when you go look at the defensive stats, it's pretty daggum obvious where the main issue is. It's not solely on the offensive line. You notice I said solely. That's an issue. Don't get me wrong. But, John, when you look at it, I mean, let's just go over the opponent's averages for rushing and receiving. Just 2 stats, okay? You ready?
Go ahead. It's all yours.
This is ugly. I'll give you the opponents, and then I'll give you the showboats, okay? Rushing-wise, the opponents are averaging 4.7 yards a rush.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially half a first down. Receiving-wise, their opponents per catch are averaging 11.3 yards a catch. That is a first down, no matter what league you're watching.
Right.
I've never seen a league that has 1st and 15. I mean, you got to get a 1st and 15 to get a first down. No. The Showboats are averaging 3.5 yards a rush. That is literally 2 yards in a cloud of dust right there. And then only 9.7 yards per catch. Passing efficiency, passing yards per game, the opponent is averaging 254 a game. Total yards, I mean, it's 254. That has those 3 numbers I just gave out. I hate to tell the Showboat fans that are out there. I mean, the ones that are really fans and not the ones that just get online and complain and don't even know anything about the team. Those 3 stats right there have nothing to do with the offensive line of this team. None. 0.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. I don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't.
I mean, have you also noticed that the corners are not turning around?
Oh, God, yes. Oh, God, yes. I feel like I'm watching the Rip Shearer Memphis football team from 1994.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I mean, not 94. I mean, so far was still there in 94. But, I mean, it was like probably freaking 98. I mean, 96, whatever.
Hey,
I feel like I'm back in Starkville, Mississippi,
yeah,
watching Rip Shear defense go against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and we're running a damn bracket defense, which is the most bullcrap defense ever. And no corner turned around the entire game. They just ran down the field with their back turned. The wide receiver would stop, dance, wave at them, high five them, and catch the football. And they're still running down the field. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. And everybody wants to, oh, the offensive line's terrible. We need Cole Kelly back. We need Brady White back. We need Coach Haley back.
We need Johnny Manziel back. No, okay.
None of the people I just named play defense. And then I love that people are like, oh, well, when they selected the teams, it was rigged. What? What do you mean when they selected the teams? It was rigged? That makes no sense. I'll go back. I'll say what I said yesterday on the show, and I'll say what I said in an article 2 weeks ago that pissed a lot of people off, but I don't care. The amount of excuses used by people who just blatantly don't want to support this team is mind-boggling to me. Don't tell me they fly in and fly out. They proved, 2 weeks ago? They don't just fly in and fly out.
Mm-hmm.
Did they fly in and fly out when they did a youth football camp for 6 hours? Nope. Did they fly in and fly out when they went to the FedEx house and spent time with the community? Nope. Did they fly in and fly out when they went to the homeless shelter and handed out food, passed out food to the homeless of Memphis? Nope. These people in Memphis are mad because they don't have a coach's show to go to every week. They've lost access to the team. I mean, I get it. You want to be close. I understand. I get it. That doesn't mean that you just turn your back on this team. Oh, they suck. I don't even care if they win another game. Well, that's obvious because you don't go.
Right.
But to quote John DeFilippo, the head coach, blaming this team's issues solely on the offensive line is a lazy narrative. Because stats, which is why I love digging into stats and giving stats on sports shows, because it backs up what you're saying. It validates what you're saying. What you're saying is not a hot take. This ain't a hot take, folks. Defense sucks on this team, and it's obvious. The issues of this team is more on the defensive side of the ball than it is the offensive side of the ball. If anyone wants to argue with me, our comment section is open. Shoot me a message. I will talk ball with you all day long on this. I promise. Go ahead, John.
Man, I'm like you just nailed it on the. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like it's everything that's going wrong with this team last few games because it's not only the offensive line. You brought up the defense. The defense ain't doing their job. They're not getting off the field. They're basically letting Adrian Martinez, for crying out loud, when he can beat you with his own 2 feet running the football. You let Adrian Martinez quarterback over 300 yards against you down in Birmingham a couple weeks ago. And that's just no excusable. Nothing against Adrian Martinez. But I see Adrian Martinez as more of a running quarterback than a throwing quarterback just because the way that he kind of, throughout his Nebraska career, didn't really pass the ball well at Nebraska, but he passed the ball well at Kansas State. That makes sense. Because that's no excuse. Adrian Martinez throwing over 300 yards against you down in Birmingham? Come on. And Matt Corral never saw the game or never saw that action. Imagine if Matt Corral played in that game. You would probably have Matt Corral probably throw over 200 yards against the Showboats defense because that's the problem as of late. But yeah, offensive line ain't the only problem. It's the defense. And like you brought up the coach, he's done a great job, but where's his energy from last year's? I know because didn't he play in the championship game last year as a coach? And I forgot where he came from. But did he play that championship game last year?
I want to say he did. And I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, we got to fire everybody. But I question some of, and I understand the offensive line has issues, but that doesn't mean that this is a team season high, John. 31 rushes, 113 yards rushing.
That's it.
And that took place against San Antonio on 4-6 of 2024.
Yeah.
The most rushing touchdowns we've had in a season is one. We did it twice. One against Arlington on the 11th of this month and one on 4/20 of last month. The most passes we've thrown is 41. Why is the most times we've rushed the ball 31 times in a game? Is that a lot? It is, but you got 4 running backs. It's not in reality.
It's just like there's no. I mean, the last couple of games, we've been trying to battle the quarterback play and figure out like who's the main guy now and all that. But your running game, like you don't see like a. God, how can I say this nicely? But you don't see like other teams, like they got those running backs that are like 5'10", 5'11", and 200 and 210 pounds. You get a running back that's like 5'9" and like 230. Meanwhile, other teams are using like 5'10", 5'11". I mean, they're using like a 1-2 punch pretty much against you, it seems, at times as well, where the Showboats are pretty much just lying on one running back these whole ball games, it seems, as well, in my opinion.
You're right. And I mean, then you go on the flip side of that, you go look at game lows. The least amount of rushes we had in the season was on 4/28 against the Michigan Panthers, also the team where Showboats are going against this week. 11 rushes in a game. You know what the least amount of yards they've rushed for? It was on 4/13 against the Birmingham Stallions, and that was 20 yards for the entire game. There's no reason you should turn around and hand the ball off, in my opinion, to not just one running back, but the 2 or 3 we've got that they have on the roster. There's no reason you shouldn't turn around and hand the ball off less than 30 times a game. You've got 3 different running backs. It's 10 rushes per running back. That is nothing in reality.
But they're relying on one running back. That's how crazy it is, though.
Then why move people around? And why bring in Victor if you're not going to do anything with it?
Right.
I loved the move. When they brought him in, I was like, oh, heck yeah. That's beautiful. Love the move. But here's the thing, John. On the season, Darius Victor has played 7 games. He has 71 total rushing attempts. He has netted 200 yards. He averages 2.9 yards a rush and has a long of 17. He averages 29.4 yards rushing a game. What?
No, excuse me.
Are you serious? Like, what? This is insane.
All I gotta say is good luck the rest of the way right now. Sorry, but
Well, I mean, then you look at the passing, and I mean, they started Troy Williams again. I mean, poor Troy. Guy he didn't look good this week. But I mean, then he runs in and gets a touchdown, and he's hurt. Bring in Case. I mean, I get it, man. But I mean, then you look at it on the receiving side, John. There's real talent on the receiving crew of this team. I love Dawood Davis. Vinny Papali is like, I feel like he's an Italian mob guy just playing wide receiver. Just the name alone. Jonathan Adams is another one. Darius Victor has been more involved in the passing game than he has been the running attack. I don't know, man. We're going to continue to talk about it this week.
I mean,
but man,
I also want to say this: they're not even capitalizing on the red zone when they're in the red zone as well, because they're either fumbling the football or they're throwing an interception. I mean, that's the story this year as well as turnovers, because every game lately, it seems, on their first series of the game, they're turning the ball over. Either the quarterback is fumbling the ball or the running back is fumbling the ball. The turnovers have definitely been a story all year long as well.
To your point, they have 12 fumbles on the year, have lost 8 of them.
And all on the first drive, it seems.
Yeah, literally. You're watching and listening to the Sports Buffet right here on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. I am Wes Pruitt. You're looking at Jonathan Sturdivant. We appreciate everybody watching and listening on YouTube and on X today. As soon as we get this show done, I will get it uploaded today. It might be this evening, but I will get it uploaded to the website. For all our podcast listeners, I apologize. You've had to just listen to the live, and you can't go back and listen to it again. I apologize. But John, we got a lot of.
Absolutely. I was going to say also to our listeners as well, I'd like to apologize that Maddie couldn't be with us today as well, because she had something pop up at the last minute, where I'd like to apologize on her behalf that she couldn't be with us today. I know some people might be looking for her and whatnot, but she had a prior commitment at the last minute. She had to take care of it at the last minute. So,
yeah, no, I mean, and if, like I said, not a problem. We'll get Maddie back in here. And I mean, let's be honest, dude, I don't think she's going anywhere. She does an incredible job with her photography, and she's a good little writer too. Let's not sleep on that talent as well. She's a good little writer as well. She knows sports. She knows the city of Memphis. She loves the city of Memphis. Kayla Hoyle as well. Will Bass also does a good job for us. And John, just to shout out you real quick, man. Recently that Arlington District tournament, man, you killed it with you killed it with the tweets.
Yeah.
You killed it with the information. I immediately knew there was controversy going on in that Collierville game. Immediately. I didn't know what it was, but I knew there was some kind of controversy. So just to give a quick shout out to you, man. You've done an incredible job with the prep side of things. It's been a nice addition to our content here. And our content's continuing to grow, John.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you brought up the prep stuff, man. Like tomorrow, we're gonna talk about real quick the rundown regarding some prep stuff, since I was gonna tell you about the prep part of it. But yeah, tomorrow is gonna be, this whole week in general for preps across the state of Tennessee is definitely interesting, because you got softball regionals and sub-states. You got baseball, not regional for softball, but you got sub-state now for softball going on. You got baseball sub-state starting tomorrow for some teams, and track and field is pretty much wrapping it up before they go to state next week as well. And soccer as well, the region championships are tomorrow night for some teams. It's definitely interesting for a lot of stuff going on in the state of Tennessee, and look forward to tomorrow with a little bit of prep talk with Parker Jackson, a Bartlett High School baseball player who's now, after graduation, when he already had his graduation last week, but now he's going to go on to play baseball at Jackson State. But tomorrow we'll definitely get a little bit more information from him. Not give him any predictions to do or anything like that. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But also to talk about the Bartlett-Arlington rivalry, and also to talk about maybe this year as a whole, what he thought about the baseball season as a whole for this whole city of Memphis as well. And Parker Jackson from Bartlett High School will definitely be joining us tomorrow on the show as well. So, yeah, definitely prep. So it's going to be interesting this couple of days in the Memphis area. So tune in for more results, from 4-Star for me throughout the week.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a lot going on, man. And then tomorrow we're going to dive back into some more college baseball talk, because you've got some big series starting up on Thursday, both for the Memphis Tigers and the Arkansas Razorbacks as well. Two series that I mean, for Memphis anyway, it's almost season defining coming down to the end. We'll get into some college baseball talk. We'll also get into some Northwest Arkansas Naturals and Memphis Redbirds talk, as both of their series games are getting cranked up tonight. The Naturals are down in Little Rock at Dickey Stadium, taking on the Arkansas Travelers in what we have dubbed the Natural State Series, which is a team from the Natural State, huh? And then the Redbirds are at home. They're going fishing, John. They're taking on the Gwinnett Stripers this week. It's going to be a lot of fun at AutoZone Park in its 25th year, as I mentioned yesterday on the show. We got a lot of stuff going on, man. We got content growing. Our media distribution lists are growing. I was on a Olympic media call really early this morning. It was very, very cool to be with the other media members from around the world, literally, talking Olympics. The Olympics are right around the corner, and we at 4-Star Sports Media got you hooked up on some content there, as well as we are a official online media member for the 2024 Olympics. So that'll be added into content as well. Once again, John, like I said yesterday, I love when people are like, "Oh, you're not media." Really? Because we are.
Yeah, tomorrow also we're going to have some interesting talk. A lot of people might be like, okay, why are y'all bringing up this topic? But tomorrow we're going to be talking a little bit of arena football, because that's got some crazy stories this whole season so far in general, because you got some teams that are folding, and you definitely got some teams still playing in it regarding arena football. And heck, I got a team 3 hours east of me in Nashville that is still playing arena football as of right now, called the Nashville Cats. So we're going to have a special interview with Anthony Carter tomorrow that talks arena football. And then later on that afternoon, Wes, you want to do the honors in that one?
Yeah, man. Gonna get Ob Goodson back in here. Big Ob is playing for the Albany team. Their mascot name slips my mind. I'm sorry. He's playing for the Albany team, so we're gonna get Ob in here. We're gonna talk to him, and then on the back end of it, we got an article getting ready to come out as well on him. Just a little update on what he's doing, and then his thoughts on the Arena Football League, as it's completely different than any other league around the world. I mean, you can catch the ball off the net and stuff. It's very interesting. We'll get Ob's thoughts on that tomorrow as well.
Yeah, OB's going to be a good guest for us. And also, I think maybe we can talk a little bit of Memphis football with him as well, because we haven't really talked to him in, 3 or 4 years since that Cotton Bowl run that we had. And maybe get some insight from him regarding what does he think about the new American Athletic Conference as well for him, for the University of Memphis football team.
Yeah, and speaking of the Memphis football team, be on the lookout over at the website. We're going to have some articles coming out on some players who were formerly Tigers that are now at the next level. And we're also going to have some updates on some guys who are now Tigers that maybe some fans may have to eat some crow about. I'm very excited about the talent that's coming over for this football team. And I'm very excited about next season. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're right back in Tiger football season next year. We'll have credentials and more, and maybe make some road trips this year to get the Tigers covered as well. All that and more coming up from us right here at 4-Star Sports Media. But once again, for Jonathan Sturdivant, I am Wes Pruitt. You've been watching and listening to the Sports Buffet right here on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network.